I got hurt. I accidentally cut myself with the kitchen knife in the kitchen. And then I had to go through a major surgery to get the nerve and the artery fixed. So I'm still recovering. And yeah, it'll take 3-4 weeks to fix my hand properly. But yeah, the cut was here. So anyways, let's talk about ahimsa. Usually, ahimsa, people translate it to non-violence, right? But just like any other, Sanskrit terms and so many other concepts, Sanskrit terms and concepts, words from cannot be properly translated into English. So non-violence is not the 100% translation of the word ahimsa. Okay? And it's a very, when we say non-violence, it's just partial aspect of understanding ahimsa. Ahimsa is a very big thing. Major thing, very big thing. And to understand ahimsa, you have to understand in how many ways there could be hinsa, or you can say in how many different ways there can be violence. How many different types of violence can exist, right? And from whose perspective are we looking at violence? So in order to understand ahimsa or non-violence, we have to understand what is hinsa, what is violence in the first place, okay? And then, since it's the, first thing that we follow in our life, whether you are a spiritual person, spiritual seeker, or you are a normal worldly person, looking for some wisdom, something somewhere, still you need to understand that dharma comes first. Dharma means what's being righteous in one's own place. So dharma is the first thing, okay? Second aspect of living a truthful life, living an awakened life, living a conscious life, second aspect is ahimsa. And you will be surprised to know that third aspect is truth. So many people will just say, no, truth comes first and truth is always first. No, and I'll explain in a minute why. Truth doesn't come first. Dharma, being what is right, by being in one's own shoes, by being in one's own place, by being in one's own profession, in the society, a place in the society, a place in a family, one's own role in a family or a society or a country or in government, what is right by being at that place, okay? So that's what dharma is. So dharma should be followed first, then comes ahimsa, and then comes truth. So ahimsa, non-violence, if we start with it in a very gross meaning, okay? So when ahimsa gets translated to English, it only represents the gross meaning, not the subtle aspects. We will talk about the subtle aspect, but let's just start with the gross, something gross. Like for example, physical body. So non-violence is usually attached to the physical body, to your mental emotional body, okay? And violence or hinsa is actually a punishable crime. In so many scenarios, in so many places, in so many countries, it's actually a punishable thing. So there's a legal aspect attached to it. So it's very easy to understand and it's visible. Like for example, nobody cut my hand, right? I did it myself accidentally in the kitchen. And I use so many power tools and garden tools, and I never had that kind of an accident, but just with the kitchen knife. And even though I use a lot of kitchen knife, lot of work I do in the kitchen, still accidentally it happened, right? So physical violence, physically attacking someone, torturing someone, something, that is called as hinsa. Only we are talking about humans here. When a lion attacks a deer, suppose, or any other smaller animal, or a sheep or a goat or something, when a predator animal is attacking and they are looking for food and they'll eat it after hunting it down, that's not called hinsa, first of all. That is not violence. Why? Because by those bodies, the body, physical body of a lion, physical body of a deer or any other animal, they are bhog deha. Bhog deha means they are just they have the body which is nature driven. So by nature they are going to eat whatever, and they do not hunt for fun. There's no hunting party going on, right? Lions do not go for hunting just for the sake of it. No. Only when they are hungry, they will do that, because that's their nature. That is not hinsa for them. But if for fun you just go on killing, shooting, target practicing and doing all that, for fun you kill any other being, including if you kill a human being, you will be punished. If you kill any endangered species, you will be punished. But to kill and to eat, when a human does that, even then that is not hinsa. Why? Because humans have a karma deha. If there is no agriculture in lot of places in the world, lot of mountain places where there is just snow, ice, nothing else, agriculture cannot happen, and they survive on meat a lot, and that is how it is for them. So it's not hinsa. Okay, lot of traditional original tribes and people living in the forest, they ended up surviving on animal flesh too, and it wasn't hinsa. But when hinsa means, hinsa has a, violence has a aspect of cruelty. So for me the correct translation of the word ahimsa would be non-cruelty, not being cruel. Okay, and even when a lot of tribes, that practice still goes on, when they used to kill an animal for eating or for surviving themselves, they used to pray for the spirit or the soul of that animal and for themselves too, for killing that poor thing, because they have to eat and they have to survive the human body at any cost. There's nothing wrong about it, surviving your human deha, which is a karma deha. So that wasn't wrong. So we won't go into the debate of whether eating non-veg is hinsa or not. There is a separate video I have created about eating non-veg and all that. We won't go into that. But there is an aspect of cruelty that we have to keep in mind. While sometimes parents, you see, parents will just spank a child or slap a child, and it happens a lot in Indian parenting. You get beaten up really bad by whatever your parents can find in their hand. Whatever they get their hands on, they'll throw that on you. So it's the way parenting is, and it's fine. So, but there's nothing cruel about it. They aren't doing it to express. It's not an expression of cruelty from them. They're not doing it because they really want to torture you or give you pain and suffering. They're not doing it from that aspect. Their only intention is to teach you a lesson. Okay, you may be doing something wrong, something bad, and not listening and just being ignorant fool in your own way. So doing the drama in your own ego. So they might hit you and do all that. So physical thing. It comes to the physical aspect, that there is no cruelty in that. The intention is not cruel. So the cruel intention should be looked at very carefully, even when it comes to physical violence or physical non-violence. Okay, cruelty is one very big factor. If I saw when I was a kid, and we were playing around. I used to have a boy around me, and he had that knack of cruelty in him, which I saw from time to time. He would, if a bird is injured, he would, instead of taking that bird and trying to give that poor little thing some water or something, or trying to heal the bird, or just to, caress the bird in such a way that she heals and all that, instead of that, he would twist the leg, rip off the feathers. And I once saw him and I just couldn't bear it. He was outright, being a child, still he was a child too, but he was outright cruel in treating anybody and anything. And he grew up to be, ultimately that cruelty harms you. He died a natural death too. So that's a different thing. But see how cruelty comes out. So some people have that cruelty with him, no matter what they are doing. That cruelty is hinsa. And that is a pattern, it's a seed, it's a sanskara, it's a bad chitta vritti, bad psychological pattern. You do it initially, you have got birds or animals to lay your hands on, so you're expressing your cruelty there. Sometime later, maybe you get to lay your hands on some human being or some human child, and you lay your cruelty. You become a criminal mind. It's a criminal mind actually. So cruelty is one very big aspect. Now let's look at it in a much larger way, physical violence or cruelty. That a judge is punishing. In so many countries, there is a capital punishment, right? So you may say that, oh, judge is very violent and he's not following the life of ahimsa, because he's punishing people with horrible punishments and horrible things like hanged to death or something else they will do, and that's how they'll punish different people, and it's hinsa. No, it's not. You may say that a lot of police and army or navy, when they go for such things like, one-on-one with the terrorists or robbers or somebody who is menacing with the society, with the people, it's hinsa. No, it's not. Now why is it not hinsa when they are doing it? And why was it hinsa? Why did we call it violence or hinsa? When the robber or the serial killer or the rapist or the terrorist or somebody did it, why was it called hinsa? And when the police did the exact same thing to stop them, police or the army or the judge hanging the person, delivering the punishment to the person, when they did it, why is it not called as ahimsa? Not called as hinsa, not called as violence. Why? Because the idea behind treating that one person, punishing that one person, is to keep the rest of the society, rest of the people safe. When a gang of robbers is caught and punished, society, community lives in peace for some time until another one pops up, right? Exactly in the same way, when few terrorists die, at least for some time there is a peace. And then again another group comes up, and it's a cycle, it will go on. But the point here is that in order to save so many people, one person is being punished, or a group of person is being punished, so that remaining people, those who are not menacing with the society in such a horrible way, these people on same. Why? But why is it called hinsa when those people actually do it? Because their purpose was not, their intention was cruelty, outright cruelty. By robbing someone of their wealth, by robbing somebody of their whatever possessions they have got, by killing somebody uselessly, by serial killers, rapers, robbers, all the criminal people. What is the intention behind? Intention is an expression of cruelty, which is wrong, which is bad. Nowhere in a Indian Vedic scriptures or Vedas or Upanishads or in any other scripture, nowhere it is said that stopping such a person is wrong. It is not. So many Shaktis came down to kill the demons, to kill the Rakshas, and to kill the Asuras. Was it Hinsa? We also have to remember one very good aspect here. Stopping such a person who is expressing cruelty. In other words, he is practicing cruelty. In other words, he is strengthening his pattern of cruelty. If you do not stop them, they will, in the human body, they will end up accumulating a lot of bad karma for themselves. So at times, to stop the person from doing the bad karma, we have to punish them, catch them, punish them, take them through the legal system. Or if you are on the border and terrorist is trying to come in and army does the shootout, it happens and they are killed and they are gone. It's not hinsa. Stopping somebody from doing the bad karma. Now you may say, who is the judge? Who's going to judge them whether they are going to do the bad karma or good karma? Well, the simple principle is their doing going to uplift the humanity in any way? In any way. What they are doing. Why do we still respect the army people, Navy, Air Force people, military people? Why do we still have respect for, judges and people, those who are fighting in the legal system for the truth, for the so many lawyers around the world? So many police are doing their job. At times they are killed and their families have to live with that kind of repercussion for the rest of their life. Their children are without father, without mother. So many commandos, so many people, those who are standing up on the border of each country to save the country. Why do we still respect them? Because what they are doing, dharma, what is their dharma in that place is that they are doing something that uplifts the humanity, that saves the larger part of humanity, right? So that's the dharma. That's why dharma comes first, ahimsa comes second. So in order to uphold the dharma in one's own place, if you have to do hinsa or the violence in order to stop a terrorist or stop a robber or some criminal rapist or serial killer, if you have to do that, you have to do that. So dharma comes first. Same thing with the so many, spies around the world. They live in different countries. They stake their own life. Nobody ever comes to know them and all that. But if they are caught by the opposing country or opposing party or something like that, if they are caught, do you think they should be speaking the truth? Because them speaking the truth will help that country kill all the other spies. Their entire terrorist organization may use that, right? When they are captured, the opposition's army may use that for their advantage to attack or do something like that. So in that moment, their dharma is not to speak truth. For that, if they have to kill, they will kill. Again, it's the sequence. Dharma in one's own position, in one's own role in life. And then so many times doctors lie to the patients or to the family. They have to save somebody's life. Police or some other person might be actually trying to kill the patient, actually trying to kill their family member or relative. But doctors have to lie to save the life. Okay? So there are a lot of, in one's own position, we always have to think about ahimsa. There shouldn't be any aspect of cruelty at all. So first thing is dharma, second is ahimsa, third is truth. So at time, in order to uphold dharma, if you have to do hinsa, means if you have to do violence, or if you have to lie, so be it. You might all of you might remember, like how in Mahabharata, Krishna, you know, was blowing his shank right when, you know, Arjun or somebody said like Ashwathama is dead, and but the elephant Ashwathama, not the sun. So he lied right then and there, and he tried to cover the truth up to uphold the dharma. So that's how it works. So this is about the physical aspect. Again, when you go to the mental emotional aspect, it's not that there is no cruelty in mental emotionally. There is a lot of cruelty these days, especially between husband and wife and between relatives, between the boss and the employees, between the two companies doing similar nature of similar kind of business and all that. There's a lot of cruelty out there. Okay, there's a lot of hinsa, there's a lot of violence done at the mental and emotional level. All kinds of manipulation, narcissist kind of personality, whatever you call them in the psychological terms. So all kinds of people will manipulate you for financial advantage, for maybe physical advantage, maybe some other favor that they are trying to get you from, or your love. On the name of love, a lot of manipulation happens, a lot of violence happens, which is much more emotional in nature, psychological in nature. So many people suffer so much of damage throughout their lifetime from their life partners, from their relatives. Some even unfortunately had to suffer that way from their parents as well. So that is hinsa. It has a cruel aspect of it. And the person who is doing it is not aware of the damage, of the pain, of the suffering that he is causing to the other person. They're not aware, they're not conscious about it. Especially on the name of love, a lot of manipulation happens. On the name of marriage, a lot of manipulation happens from all around you. It's very subtle in nature. Otherwise, a lot of it is visible too, but still it could be very subtle in nature. Control, being a control freak, trying to control the, relationship, trying to control everything around you. It's all really very, very difficult. That's hinsa. So ahimsa would be not doing it, not manipulating people for your own benefits, any kind of benefits, not manipulating people at all. Okay, so that is ahimsa at mental and emotional level. Now you may be seeing it at the level of manipulation like that, but if you look at from the larger perspective, then all the advertisement and news media, it's a manipulation. It's a subtle manipulation of the public, trying to keep the people in fear of one kind or the other. Even this is being done by so many of the, people in temples, in churches, in mosques, everywhere. Sometimes they just want you to be fearful of one thing or the other. It's a business of fear, business of anger, business of emotion, business of sensation. You see? Business of, pleasure seeking. All kinds of beauty product, this vacation, this thrill, that thrill, all kind of weird reality shows that goes on. What is all that? Very subtle manipulation of your mental and emotional body, your manomaya kosh. Those who have gone beyond all that, and those whose intellect has taken a much more pure form, much more sharper form, they don't get into it. They don't buy into it. But a lot of people are not that yet well equipped. They will buy into it. That is all that is hinsa. All because, you see, so one more point, that important point that you have to understand. If you do not uphold the dharma, then you have done hinsa. And if you have done hinsa, then again truth is gone. So if one falls out of these three pillars, if one falls, then another one is also gone, another one is also gone. Until you start fixing them one by one. So you think media's job, or lot of these companies, and if they are not upholding, it's their dharma? No, they are not following any dharma. They are driven by greed of how many people are watching their channel, how many people are listening, and people are like that too. They'll run towards anything that's shiny, glittery, not true, give them a false sense of gratification for some time at least. So they'll run towards it. They are also not looking for truth behind anything. They do not have the capacity to handle it yet. So they run away from all that. So you get what you are being sold. You buy into it. So this is at a larger scale. Exactly in the same way, it can go even at a much larger scale, where we say governments in most of the countries, almost all the countries, if in one way or the other, for one thing or the other, government is manipulating people, isn't it? That we are giving you this, we'll reduce the tax cut here, we'll give you this, and we'll do that, and you go for 3 vaccine or 5 vaccine, otherwise you are not allowed the entry here and there. So a lot of such things are happening on the name of financial, on the name of resources, on the name of scams that happen in a lot of countries. What is all that? Hinsa at a very large level, level of the country. Should we, and then because hinsa has happened, violence has happened, subtle violence has happened, dharma has been broken, dharma has not been kept alive through those government people, whosoever is doing that. And then there are lies, there is no truth is being hidden, truth is hiding, they are hiding the truth from you, right? So all three work together in this way. Now at another level, these are the levels where as a worldly person you can look at ahimsa, or as a spiritual seeker also you can look at that thing. Another level comes for spiritual seekers when they have become much more advanced. Then they need to understand that keeping any identity in you is also a kind of ahimsa towards your own Atma, towards your own soul. Why? You are compromising the purpose of the soul. You are killing the purpose of your Atma by living into one or the other identities. Being in bondage is ahimsa in itself. Attaining moksha is the topmost level of dharma of an Atma. Walking the spiritual journey, is the topmost dharma for an Atma. The real you, who you are, right? That's the dharma. So topmost non-violence or ahimsa is being in moksha, being in mukti. So topmost ahimsa. Being anything else is the hinsa towards oneself. So living identities day in, day out, unconsciously, being driven by your own patterns, hardcore patterns, instead of trying to break free, instead of trying to live a very conscious life properly, is all called as violence towards oneself. Violence towards real self. That is where spiritual seekers need to focus the most. Advanced seekers. Yes, initially you can look at smaller aspects. Those who are still into the initial stages of their spiritual journey, they can look into the physical aspect, mental, emotional aspect. But once you cross all that, being anything else other than being a real you, the Atma that you are, being in the bondage of your own psychological patterns, chittavrittis, sanskaras, is the violence of topmost quality in this life. Because that violence will make you do violence towards people, towards environment, towards animals, towards other beings, and towards oneself. So if you are not following ahimsa towards oneself until you are completely yourself, you cannot do complete, following of ahimsa. You cannot uphold ahimsa properly, 100%. You may uphold ahimsa from your physical perspective, that you are not doing beating and killing and showing cruelty or practicing cruelty anywhere. You may practice ahimsa at the mental emotional level, but yet at the identities level, in a very subtle way, there is going to be ahimsa. Okay? So truly upholding ahimsa means being you, being the Atma that you are, means walking the path of enlightenment, means seeking spiritual seeking very religiously and seriously. Only then you become a complete, person that will hold the dharma, that will hold the ahimsa, and that will hold the truth. I hope this helps understand, and you can practice it in your life. Okay. Namaste. Jai Shiva.
Om